China-U.S. relations began the year on a positive note when President Donald Trump and Vice Premier Liu He signed the Phase 1 trade deal at the White House. But that was mid-January, and by then, COVID-19 was already spreading, bringing new challenges to the relationship between the world's two largest economies. Trump has repeatedly criticized China over its handling of the pandemic.
I'm not happy with China. They should have stopped this at the source.
A move critics say is meant to draw attention away from his own mishandling of the crisis.
Whether it's the loss of jobs, the loss of competitiveness, now the deaths from COVID-19, Trump doesn't take responsibility, but rather tries to blame China.
The two sides have traded attacks over the origin of the virus. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has at times claimed the virus may have originated at a lab in Wuhan. China rejects this, and Pompeo has presented no evidence. Earlier this year, a spokesman from China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs tweeted that the virus may have begun in the U.S., perhaps brought to China by American military officers.
The question I raised on my personal Twitter account was a response to the stigmatization of China by some U.S. politicians, and also reflects the indignation of many people in China.
Beyond COVID-19, other conflicts are simmering. The U.S. has taken steps to limit the ability of Chinese journalists to operate in the U.S.
The U.S. is continuously ratcheting up political suppression of the Chinese media, which will seriously undermine normal reporting activities of Chinese media in the U.S.
Beijing has responded, taking action against U.S. news outlets in China. The Trump administration has continued to target Huawei, taking steps to limit the Chinese tech giant's ability to operate in the U.S. and elsewhere. And though a military clash between the two countries remains unlikely, the U.S. Marine Corps is shifting its focus on China, and the Pentagon continues to occasionally send warships into the South China Sea on so-called freedom of navigation missions. Political observers say Trump's attitude toward China is largely about election politics.
The Republican Party has issued a 57-page memo, a guide to Republican senators and Republican House members on how to win the elections, and the key is to blame China.
While it may seem like good short-term politics for President Trump to criticize China, long-term, the two countries have more to gain from cooperation than from confrontation.
China-U.S. cooperation in various fields, including economic and trade, investment and technology, is mutually beneficial and win-win in nature.
Jim Spellman, CGTN, Bethesda, Maryland.